All right, man. Season 6, episode 45, man. This is a big deal, man. This is crazy.
The biggest.
We're sitting amongst legends right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Red carpet connoisseurs. You know what I mean? Rocking Joe Freshgood. Listen, Joe Freshgood jackets.
Casually.
The jacket, though.
Hey, I'm not fresher than your engineer, man. He got his Joe Freshgoods.
He do. He got the T on, too, man. Shout out to Freshgoods, man.
I had to match y'all fly, man.
Nah, for sure, man. Hey, Dometi Pongo is here with us, man, all the way. Earwax Queens.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Doing this thing, man, for MTV Need to Know. The list goes on, man. We're about to really get into it, man. I'm excited about this one.
MTV News aficionado.
Wow, going crazy. For sure.
Thank y'all for having me, man.
And he copped in the setup, too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because he's around the real shit all the time.
Yeah, we told him.
Varsity level.
This is TV One.
It is JUCO.
Now, let me tell y'all, man. The pregame came to New York and got a raw-ass venue.
Very nice venue.
Shout out to Rudy.
Shout out to Rudy. Black-owned and managed venue. Got some extravagant tea that I get to sip on. Hibiscus and chamomile.
Man. Be careful with that. Don't stain. Don't stain.
We're going to be real careful. But this is a beautiful setup. You always have beautiful conversations. So I'm privileged to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Indeed, man. For sure. We appreciate it.
The urban philosopher Dwayne Carter once said, "My hair is growing like my money."
Come on now.
And I see it on you.
I see you shining, though.
Come on now.
For sure. Uncle Ice around the corner high.
I see it, man.
Uncle Ice mad behind the bar.
I think the first time we interviewed, you was still baby dress trying to get your shit on.
Yeah, now.
I see it now. Yeah, we got some hang time now.
Matter of fact, it wasn't even baby dreads. Yeah, I still had the beanie, trying to cover
up.
Trying to cover it up. It was ugly. I was in the ugly stage, man.
Got hang time now.
That's crazy coming, man.
Yeah, hang time now. You scratching your neck a little bit these days. I love it.
That's tight, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Number one, where can everybody? If you don't know Dometi Pongo, that's weird, but where can everybody find you?
Oh, at Dometi on all social media platforms, or an MTV News red carpet, or the Smithsonian Channel. We got a show.
We're gonna talk about that too.
Got a show coming out next year.
Yes, sir.
On VH1, I did a VH1 special recently where the cast of Love and Hip Hop.
Yes,
got the
saw
African
that.
ancestry done, so I hosted that as well. So you know, in these Viacom streets,
yeah, for sure.
At your local panels, talking about race and equity and all of the things.
He said,
mental health.
If it's to be done,
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll host it. I'll speak.
A Black Thought quote, man, and I got tatted on me where he says, "My journalistic range is a catalyst for change."
And it's fire because he's living that.
That's exactly.
That's
man,
hard.
let's get into the show.
Amazing.
Hey, man, round of applause, Dometi Pongo.
Thank you.
Stop playing.
Please stop playing.
Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. We start off every single pregame podcast interview with the pregame podcast pop quiz. You killed the first one.
Okay.
So we're gonna run it back.
Okay. Reigning champ. Let's get it.
Let's do it, man. All right, I'm gonna go there. I know that you are from Chicago legend, but now you got roots in New York City now.
Yeah.
What is your favorite New York City borough and why?
Oh, Brooklyn. Because I'm in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has like an energy. There's different neighborhoods in Brooklyn, so you can pick what vibe you wanna have, and remind me of the Shy in that way. You know what I mean? So
yeah, okay.
Nah, Brooklyn. I'm gonna go Brooklyn.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn a lot too. So, you know.
Okay. My hefty friend's missing, but he would have asked you this: what's the one thing we got to eat before we leave New York? We ain't get a chance to really like get our feet wet like that, but what's something we got to get our hands on before we slide?
Damn, that's a good question. What do you have to eat before you leave? Help me out. Can I ask for like?
Oh, for sure. You can call.
Oh,
you
yeah.
call
Phone
a
a friend.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Just yell it out. You ain't got to step all the way
Regis.
over. What's something they got to eat before they leave? She's saying that we in Queens right now, one of the most diverse cities in America, diverse borough. So you can get Greek cuisine.
Wow.
Let's go with Astoria Seafood. Let's go Astoria Seafood.
Oh, nice.
I think Faye was telling me about that. They bring like a bucket out, you get to pick what you want, and they do it for you.
Yes.
Yep.
You get
That
to go there, you
sounds
pick
nuts.
whatever fish you want. You can tell them, I grill this, fry this,
Wow.
fillet it. Like, it's a Greek spot. It's real, like, authentic Greek. You know, at certain times of the day, they're dancing on the tables, they're breaking
Opa.
glasses. Opa. It's that whole vibe.
That
So it's a
sounds
cultural
fire.
experience. Another good time to
Man.
come is Queens has this, well, they got them in every borough, smorgasbord and different food festivals. which remind me of the Taste of the Shy. So
for sure, man.
I'm gonna go Astoria Seafood. Somebody from New York right now is like, nah,
son, that's not good. B, you tripping right now.
Hey, I'm a transplant.
You are.
I'm gonna go Astoria Seafood because I'm in Queens right now.
Fair enough.
That sounds fire, man.
Wow. It's good,
Immaculate.
Man.
Write that down.
Actually, it ain't far from where we are after the interview. We can go up there.
Got you.
Wow.
What you got?
So I'm gonna try to make you think on this one. So
Okay.
You being a journalist, what's one event from the past that if you could cover, what would it be?
One event from the past if I could cover. I'm gonna go in the entertainment journalism bag, and I'm gonna say anything with Michael Jackson.
Wow.
I don't think we'll ever we got some mega stars right now, but I don't think
got no mics.
We got no mics.
You're never gonna see Mike again.
No,
we don't.
No.
I don't need to.
You don't want to.
There's some kids that don't either.
You know what I'm saying? I want to experience because the concept of celebrity has changed so much.
Correct.
Back in the day, there wasn't social media. You didn't feel as connected to celebrities.
You didn't see him all the time.
You didn't see him. So Mike was larger than life. So I would love to be in the vicinity of a Mike performance, feel the electricity, and actually cover it, get a sound bite or two from him.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
some
kinda
questions.
cool.
Maybe faint a little bit,
You
sweat
know
a
what
little
I'm
bit more,
saying?
not playing
He
no
was
sweating.
making
I
men
wanna know,
have heart attacks.
What do you mean by little fishies? That's what I want to know.
What you mean?
When Michael Jackson was like, oh, look at the little fish.
And what does that mean?
Explain that. I want more context.
I want context behind that.
You
And
know
see,
what I'm saying?
I might be over intellectualized, and I'm like, he feels like he's in a fishbowl because
Right.
it's celebrity. You can't really, so he's looking out.
you. Yeah. And all the
probably
little
just
minnows.
That's how I took it. I thought he was looking in the fishbowl, looking out the fishes.
Yeah,
Play
that's
with him.
kind of what,
But it'd be
that's kinda
fire
what
to
I
actually get a real quote from Michael on that. You know what I'm saying?
Does Mike give good interviews? I think that's like all right, wait a minute. Before that's a hot take. What I mean is, we know he gives good long form Oprah sit down interviews. But I mean, when you caught Michael Jackson in his prime, in those quick moments, the Soul Trains, the red carpets,
what was
and all
he
that.
like?
He
He
might
was
say
so
something
soft
wild.
spoken. He wasn't really
Yeah.
giving you a lot.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Unless you really caught him in his element and he could really emote
sure.
and talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I imagine he walked past a lot of people on the red carpet. He didn't stop.
No, he didn't have to.
You had to know.
Feet weren't
Michael.
touching the ground. He just floating by.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that
Mike,
the-
all right, Mike, maybe next year.
I think though in today's age, the bad would be when he had the baby dangling out. People were calling him Wacko Jacko. They hated him.
Yes.
It'd be even worse now.
Oh,
if
yeah.
that was on a real.
Yeah,
it
but
would
he
be
can
over.
provide context though. Like if it's crazy
He
because
probably wouldn't.
but cancel culture is this thing that we want to say it exists, but it doesn't. So Mike kind of got canceled for that. You know what I mean? He ended up in a lot of cartoons, a lot of bad negative energy went towards him. But if he could explain in context to what he was doing, there'd be a lot of people like, you know what, Mike? I see it now. I'm gonna take my kid.
Yeah.
And
Hang
I'm
him
gonna
over
do
the
the
balcony,
same
too.
thing next Sunday.
He would probably say,
baptizing them.
"I would never try my baby."
Yeah,
It'd be-
I'm gonna do it.
He gonna have a notes apology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A statement.
I would like to.
Man, it'd be a TikTok challenge today. You know what I mean?
I'm
Oh,
telling
Jesus.
you, that's interesting though. It really ain't a cancel culture. We say it is, but nobody is effectively I know y'all been seeing this about the baby where he talking about he's been canceled. Fans can't cancel. If you have fans,
Sorry,
you
say
can't be
preach.
canceled. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
That
I don't
is
think
true,
cancel
though.
Culture really exists.
I think you could lose opportunities, but your people gonna be your people.
And you can lose placement on playlists,
Yeah.
placement at festivals, which does help to promote your album. You can
True.
have interviews canceled, which does take you out of the marketplace in a way. But when you got millions of followers and a direct connection to them,
Well, there's always the opportunity for revamp.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, to retool. When you got the followers, you got some sort of authentic connection with whoever your fans are. There's always opportunity to retool and revamp.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm
It's back
saying?
in blood.
It's true.
Yeah, man.
And then when you come back, you can talk your shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every
Y'all
time.
thought I was canceled.
And there's some people,
Does this look canceled to you, my nigga?
because there's people some group of people hate this guy, but really he's still out here doing his thing.
All I know is that the Tory Lanez album was on the top of Apple Music, and he fought to get back to that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
Man.
it's possible.
They also, it doesn't come up in the Browse new music.
No, it does not.
Any
It
music,
does not.
anytime the music is good enough, you can weather any storm. That's any industry.
Yeah,
If your work is good enough and if you're positioned correctly, you can weather any storm.
it's like
I mean, you can
athletics.
make it through.
Rick Ross wasn't supposed to make it past.
He was not past. You didn't even know it,
Come on, man.
Yeah,
and now
Oh,
you
he
don't
did.
even know it about.
You don't even think about it. He wasn't supposed to make it past. You ain't even know
Yeah.
the CO thing.
We don't care
the
anymore.
Beefs, we don't care.
Well, we shouldn't say we don't care.
No, y'all don't
but
care.
You're right. We don't care.
We as a
It
society.
happened. We let it
One
go.
of the coldest
You know what I'm
rappers I've
saying?
ever heard.
Yeah,
Not
very
we,
cold.
us, for.
Yeah,
but
for
we,
sure.
The greater culture.
The greater,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? He's still making Wingstops. What you
Yeah,
know about
for sure.
Wingstop, nigga?
Fact.
Yeah, he's
Big
still
facts.
doing his thing. All right, man, let's move on, man. A round of applause, Dometi Pongo,
Yes.
for being here, man.
Oh, man, thank you, man.
I'm going to jump right into it. So, one
Make
thing,
me feel real good up here.
I grew up, man, in a household. My mom was very much into celebrity gossip, very much into award shows. She had all the magazines, People magazine growing up. We got them. She read them.
Shame on her.
And, well, you know.
I always wonder who keeps those things alive.
Man,
It
my
was your
mother. My mother was into
National
that, man.
Enquirer.
Not that. Not
Okay,
that. It would
cool.
be legit publication. She's not getting the what are those called? I can't think of the name now. The,
Tabloids.
yeah, she wasn't into that, but I see that, you know, my wife as well. Like, they still love award show. They still love that energy surrounding awards, and I do as well. I still find fun in it. And it's good to see you, Dometi, doing your thing. And I want to start off the interview with that because I feel like, man, you're so sharp. I don't care, man. I don't care who you are, who's coming up next. Dometi has done their research. So I want you to just kind of tell the people about the process behind being prepared for some of the biggest moments in the entertainment industry.
You know what's crazy, too?
You don't miss, bro, for real.
Good gratitude, bro.
Nah, for real.
I feel like, man,
For real.
and he would tell me, man.
I am like, hey, bro, you're my favorite journalist. And I'm not saying that because I fuck with you. It's because the way in which
Thank
you
you, man.
approach things. I've said in the past, I would watch Fox and CNN so I could try to find the truth amongst the two somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But you do such a great job of just presenting information. And you'll give your opinion, but it's much more important for you to just show both sides and you decide what you feel like.
Yeah,
Versus
exactly.
me
That's
telling you what to
exactly
think.
my goal. I want if you watch just the first 3 minutes of a video essay I'm doing, you're just gonna have the information. I think that the problem with media right now is we're not coming from the same set of facts.
Mm-hmm.
We can argue about we're talking about the baby. We can argue about whether he should have sold more.
Right.
But we shouldn't be arguing about what he sold. The number is the number.
The number is
we
the
should
number.
all say he sold X amount of albums.
Yeah.
Right.
We're at a place right now where people are like, nah, really, they don't want you to know he went platinum.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
Well, that's just false. Everybody knows it. We should all collectively, like you said, know that he didn't go platinum.
he didn't
But
go platinum.
even deeper than that, though, it's like, this is what he said. These are the exact words he said. Not, I heard he said this, or he was trying to say this.
Hey,
Well,
thank
so
you.
much-
And
yeah.
that's why I try to be with the content, and it can get shaky because I do editorialize and I do kind of do an op-ed. So if you're doing an op-ed and it's still journalistic work, making sure that the public has all of the facts that you have at your disposal before you tell them what you think or what
Right.
the perspective is that you approach the situation
One thing
with.
you've done very well with that content, though, is I feel like you hear the tone and voice immediately. So I know exactly what I'm getting from a Dometi Pongo op-ed or Dometi Pongo video essay. I was just telling Deuce in the whip before we got over here that you are an amazing writer, bro.
Thank you, man.
Like,
Thank you.
to be able to take a particular moment in time, putting in words in your own way, personal, like you get an A on every paper. I know. Like, there's professors like, oh man, yeah, he sent that to me. Yeah, it's,
He
hey.
had to make sure, like, he cheated? Or?
Right.
Nah, man.
He just
it's
did that.
it's just
Can you
that
run that through the
fire.
thing to make sure it went on the internet already?
Yeah.
Run it again.
This is professional.
Those
Yeah.
props go to my team too, and for folks who haven't had a chance to listen, we're talking about the show Need to Know. I do
Yeah,
a video
Need to Know,
essay
yep.
about a pop culture issue. We try to find an intersection between entertainment and social justice. So if we're talking about, you know, something crazy that Ye said, we're going to connect it to a larger issue within society about why you should care beyond the entertainment value. And the props for the writing goes to, I'm gonna take them myself, but also
Yeah, some of
you know, give me my flowers, but also Kelsey, who is my writer, Sonny, who is my associate producer, Clementine, our PA, Tyler, who used to work with us, who was our former AP, and Jared, who is our EP right now.
Y'all
and
going
Adam.
crazy.
So I just got to
Shout
shout
out
out
to
the
the
whole
squad.
Hey,
team.
round of
Started
applause
five
to
is
the
awesome.
squad.
Yeah, clap to the squad.
That's a gold
Need
state
to
starting
know
five.
It is a
It's
whole
fire,
group
man.
effort. I outline the story. I say, these are the things I'm looking at. These are the articles I'm looking at. This is how I want to approach it. They challenge my ideas. We go back and forth. My hair writer fleshes it out. We go back and forth again. And then we shoot that thing.
Then I do what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, that's fire.
Not
Turns
gonna
out, after all that,
While we on
We're
the
gonna do what we
subject,
started
man, so I know that you've been a part of some mental health panels. You know, trying to make more people aware about mental health. I want to know your take because I brought this up on our show last week, and I'm a big Kanye fan. So my brothers, they've been on me. On
Aren't
the
we
PreGame
all?
podcast
Oh, man.
about my stance and everything else.
I almost wore a
saying?
Genius hoodie up here. And I was like, I don't want to have to explain it.
Yeah, for sure. So we he's a part of our culture, part of our upbringing. But I want to know. I kind of made a comment about mental health, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there. Shout out to Reed, Kyle Reed on the show specifically, who's like, man, I don't want to hear that no more. I don't want to hear about Kanye's mental health. I ain't taking into account. You know what I'm saying? They feel like it's a cop out. What is your take on mental health and the current state of Kanye West right now?
It's tricky because you have to take into account that somebody might be having a manic episode in public. And even as journalists, when people bring him on their shows, and I'm not talking about one specific show, whether it's CNBC, Fox, whatever, they have to be delicate with whether or not they're exploiting somebody who's actually having a manic episode, right?
Correct.
But a side effect of mental illness isn't being a racist, right? So,
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
not in any of the books.
He said Adolf Hitler was not depressed.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Exactly. So there's a point at which it really the way a person expresses themselves and the fact that they choose to express themselves on these certain issues may be a part of their mental health and what they're going through. But what they're saying,
It's something that's in them.
is something that's in them.
It ain't on him, it's in him.
You feel me? and I think that the way we cover it and the way we watch this sideshow, that's where you get to take mental health into account. But as far as the substance of what someone is saying, that's who he is. And that's who he has been for a very long time. So we can't really make excuses for that. I'll give you an example. I mean, whether it's people talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Mm-hmm. You think Jeffrey Dahmer's victims' families give a damn if he had?
No.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
There comes a point at which when you're harming people, whether it's with your words or with your actions, where
we got to hold you accountable.
Irregardless of what else, or you need help so that you can hold yourself
Yeah, I'm
accountable.
sorry you didn't get your help, bro, but you ate my dad. Fuck you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Your family should have took better care of you, but you raped him.
Yeah,
They killed him.
You know, so I mean, and maybe Dahmer was a bad example. It was the most extreme example. So I don't want to compare Ye to Dahmer, but just to illustrate the fact that, there comes a point at which your mental health and the things you do, I don't know.
But even
that was
that,
a great,
even that
great
explanation,
take,
your need to know on Kanye, like you just laid it all out, and at the end he was like, by the way, I'm also from Chicago. I'm disappointed.
That's how I felt, bro. I was hurt.
Yeah, man, it's
hurt,
ridiculous,
man.
bro.
The shoulder sunk in. You stop.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sometimes your heroes let you down.
I think a G slipped out. I'm from Chicago, G. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to do this.
Man, because it's hard because he's such a megastar. And it's funny because there are people who say he says these things because he knows to get attention. He wants to be in the media cycle. But at what point will he realize, if that's the case, I don't know if that's true. We don't live in his mind. But at what point
Scary place.
will he
I'm
realize,
sure,
It's a nightmare in there.
no matter
Ready
what
Player
he
One
say,
in that
If you're
motherfucker.
trapped in Kanye's mind,
Yeah.
prayers up.
It's
You
Ready
hear
Player
me?
One in that bitch.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
But if we was in there, I wonder if we would see whether or not he understands that no matter what he says, people are going to listen.
True.
You don't have to say white lives
It could be
matter.
love. It could be love. And niggas would be on the love
It will be
wave.
on the love wave.
Yeah.
They're going to listen to whatever he says.
Yeah.
They're going to pay attention to what he says. So,
So I don't want to get too much time to Kanye, but
Yeah.
so my take on Ye is I feel like Ye is a terrible communicator, and his communication or what he's talking about is dictated heavily upon who's around him at the time. I think he's like the complete opposite of you. There's no research done. There's no looking behind it. If I say, hey, bro, birds are fake, Kanye will hear that and then go on the news and say, birds are fake. Did you know birds are fake? And run with it. I don't think he ever
That'd be a Birds Effect
takes
t-shirt.
into account what he's talking about or like the actual truth behind it. So right now, he's Candace Owens' terrible publicist. That's what he's doing right now. And next week, he might be somebody else's terrible publicist. Or it just depends on what's in front of him. Yeah. He doesn't necessarily, I think he believes it, but he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But he also believes himself to be a genius, so I need to sound smart while I don't know what I'm talking about.
right, exactly.
And it's just a weird, watching it play, I watched 3.5 hours of the Drink Champs. It's just like, he didn't say anything while saying a bunch
Yeah, for sure.
for no reason.
And
There's
I
no
think
why
a
he
lot-
said it.
And I think a lot of people who empathize with him or who want to cape for him and defend, people who have
Cape is
not just-
retired. Cape
not
is
just-
gone. It's out of here.
It's gone.
Yeah,
But and not just Ye, but like these black conservatives who speak from a set of falsities. I think, or falsehoods. I don't even know if falsities is a word.
We gonna ride with
falsehoods.
Falsehoods. Who speak from with false information. Some people are so thirsty to be
Yes, man.
Dare
so
to
thirsty
be
to just
different.
say the
Bro.
opposite of what people are saying that they'll just jump out the window. So I think
they'll
that's
do anything.
To your point, I think
and
that's what.
And that's the danger in it. You know what I'm saying? Kanye's being very dangerous to our people. Point blank. Period.
All right, like you said,
Let's
enough time,
move on,
man.
man.
Yeah, enough time for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I did want to ask, so like the Need to Know platform, did it exist prior to you getting there?
I think so.
Okay.
This is bad for me to.
You
I gotta admit when I don't know things.
Yeah, hey, it's true.
I think Need to Know was a franchise years and years and years ago. I don't remember it, but I remember being in meetings when we first started, and it was like, "Yeah, we're gonna revive Need to Know." I was like, "Revive."
Y'all doing a seance here?
Yeah, so I did. So I don't know. But this iteration of it, I launched it in 2018, and so this format at first it was just an experiment. It was. I think we talked about this last time. Was I on MTV last time I was on this podcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. So we probably talked about it already, but it was an experiment that just went 4 years and ended up being a successful experiment. But we went through several iterations. We used to do 2 stories a day. Now we're doing 2 stories a week. You know, less is more, and just putting more energy into telling one story or 2 stories very well, rather than trying to chase being first on stories. You know,
I asked this because you do such a great. You're like embodying it. Like it's called Need to Know. It's literally what you need to know. Do it to what you will. This is what you need to know.
For sure.
Right.
I'm equipping you. If you like to argue with niggas, great. Here's what you need to know before you argue.
Before you get in that argument.
Yeah, man.
Well, I hope so. I hope I'll be saying.
Nah, I love the
the
take on the Woman King, man. I heard it was good, and you think about.
Here we go.
There's a
Weird
running
now.
joke on the
This
show.
is great. Yeah.
He says, "I really want to see the Woman King, bro. How long has it been out?"
It's been like a month.
I ain't seen it yet.
This brother ain't
They be
sat in
on
that
my-
movie
you
theater
can't
yet.
say you want to see something. He's like, "Oh, have you seen it yet? Oh, you don't want to see it then."
He
busy
says
man.
it says it because it's the right thing to say. I really want to see the Woman King, bro. Looks like a great
you
film.
think, let me get to, because number one, I appreciate the video. You know what I'm saying? The information I received about the Woman King. So now, like, you are kind of looking at it like, I'm kind of Euro stepping around the Woman King now that I know a little bit more about it. It's legit. You know what I'm saying? Colonization is a real thing. But it's interesting though. You watch those videos, and now I have a lot more context. Even if I still do decide to go see it, I got a different lens that I'm watching this film with. You made a lot of great parallels and points to Hollywood and racism, and how even then we think that there's a movie for us. That's know, from face value, I'm seeing all these beautiful black faces and this film about, black strength. And then Dometi was like, actually,
well,
you know what I mean?
Before you get too excited, I want you to know.
I want you to know this.
That kingdom did some things.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it a lot differently now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, why did they take that story? And you even like start answering questions that people will combat you with naturally, you and your team. Like, well, maybe it's the only story about strong African warriors that are female. Nope, not true.
Yeah.
There's other kingdoms that had strong women-led organizations.
That's right. Y'all Santara, Queen Nzinga. You can go down you can run the gambit. They could have chosen mad places.
Then again, so now like when they asked me that question about Woman King, it's like, well, now I can say, well, you know what? Take my time on that.
So now that's your
I got more reason, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna sit with this for a little bit.
But it's funny because I love the movie, and that goes back to the power.
You really went and saw it,
huh?
You really went and saw it?
Yeah, I went and saw it.
Way to go.
I mean, yeah, I'm getting.
He's never gonna sit down in a theater and watch that movie. It's okay.
But this is what I love about our approach and what journalism should be, is that even though I expressed the opinion that I love the movie, I also laid everything out to the point where you could be like, I really do want to see it, but it does sound problematic. I'm cool if I don't want to see it as well, given this information. Yeah. Even though I love the movie and I think we all should go see it and support Viola Davis. But I get it. I get exactly what you mean. I mean, it was written by white women, and it was highlighting the Dahomey Kingdom that did some things that were deplorable as far as, the truth is they didn't even end slavery. They fought the British because
to keep going,
and so, but I also realized that we wouldn't even have a context for that conversation had the movie not come out. And so so what's the alternative? Just never have black movies get made unless they're done perfectly to the T? Like, nah, we had a fake African movie, Wakanda. Then we got Woman King, and we're going to keep going forward.
We're going to keep getting there until we get some more authentic stories.
My least favorite part of it, though, I keep nagging at this. So in the film, they're speaking English, right? Are they forcing them to speak English with like an African accent? I hate that shit.
Other people got mad too. Well, John Boyega's African for real, so his accent was, But other people were upset, who are from from that region, and like the dancing and the drumming. We didn't include this in the story because it was just taking up too much space. But other people from Benin and from these areas.
Oh, that's food.
Yeah, it was from different places. It's like if someone does a movie about America set in Mississippi and they Millie rocking. Yeah. You know, so they getting
what
started.
Are y'all doing?
Those are not like drums.
Yeah, that's not.
That ain't how you move. Move your hand up this high.
Man, Miami footwork and hit the
40
40 in a minute.
It should be by your chest.
Yeah, I was debating somebody about this. They was like, no, it's
crazy.
highlighting African culture at large. Why does it really matter whether if they're supposed to be in this country and is showing South African dance? Because it's weird.
Yeah. There's purists in anything and everything that you do. It's purists, man. It's people that can't watch basketball right now. You know what I mean? Because they're not playing the game
the way they
remember it to be played. I kind of get into this early. I want to ask you this question. I feel like, again, having all the knowledge you have about individuals in Hollywood, you know, celebrities doing their thing, musicians from, any genre. How do you prepare for those moments, man?
I love how you brought it back because I never answered that question. So it's a long process. So
like they give you a list.
So when we specifically for red carpet, so it's a different process for different shows. So for red carpets, ahead of the red carpet, throughout the year, I'm listening to every album that certain artists drop if they're in the Billboard Top 10 or if they're cultural influences. So I'm just listening to Harry Styles. Just running through it, you know. My lady, she'll tell you like, "Why are you playing?" I'm like,
"Get in the car." Harry
Styles. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Harry Styles it's almost hard though. I like the first album better than Fine Line though. But
I'm gonna trust you on that.
Yeah, I believe you.
You know, so it's just being ingraining myself in that culture for a little while. But how we do it behind the scenes, little behind the scenes tidbit, we call it a production Bible. They have a list of everybody who might walk the carpet and everyone who's nominated. Right, so you got folks who may not be nominated but are slated to walk the carpet, and then that's when I lean on my producers, my AP. I'm like, yo, I don't know much about Charlie D'Amelio.
What you got for me?
What you got for me? Like, what should I be paying attention to? So they point me in the right direction, and then the key, this is the biggest part that allows me to maintain the authenticity. I research them to find something that I genuinely am interested in about them. So I might go back and forth, and they say, yo, their fans really care about this question. You got to get this one in. All right, what about, if I don't give a damn about that question, what can I find within this narrative that genuinely interests me? Because I don't know how to fake it.
Right.
I'm not an actor, you know?
Yeah,
so
I'd be trash. So I'm here at Billie Eilish. So the hair's green, huh? That's cool. Tell me about it.
Tell me about it. What inspired you know what I mean? It's got to be a little deeper than that. But I asked about her brother, Phineas, because I'm really close with my two big sisters. So seeing a camaraderie with her and her brother is something that really interests me.
Yeah.
How is it that you two are so close, able to work together? How do you handle those disagreements? And what's the creative process like? And did you guys know that you would both be big at this time? And how do you fight through other people getting, all of those different things, all of those family dynamics? Because all of us can relate to that. Whether you care about Billy or not, you're like, I relate to that, and I want you to come away with, if you're a fan, learning something that you didn't know before. And if you're not a fan, being like, I think I like this person a little better. I don't listen to the music as much, but I'm going to tap in because that's a good person.
You're always on go mode, man. It's fire to see. And I think that, any moment, no matter what you're doing, before you do something that you're good at, you're naturally good at, you kind of get that lump of nerves. You kind of start feeling like, oh, shoot, okay, we about to get going, about to get started. How do you overcome that? You know what I'm saying? How do you prepare to kind of get over that mental state of being a little nervous? What does that look like for you?
I always psych myself out and say I don't get nervous.
But then I'm nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
I say I don't get nervous, and then I do nervous shit. Like, I'll drink like mad waters. I don't realize how much water I'm drinking until I look down and it's like 5 empty bottle waters within 10 minutes. And I'm like, I feel good. I'm not like, you good? I feel good.
That's your nervous twitch.
It's like, that's like one of my things, one of my idiosyncrasies, but I don't feel in the forefront of my mind that you nervous. I don't feel jittery because I feel empowered with information. So the best way to kill imposter syndrome is information for me, right? If you come in and I know everything I can possibly know about this artist, how can I feel really nervous in their presence?
The test.
I'm a you know what I'm saying? And I'll build a rapport to where even if I know a question might not get included in the final cut, if I've been watching interviews with this artist and I can tell their eyes light up when they talk about this thing, let me open with this thing so they know I rock with them. And so that eliminates the nerves for the most part. So preparation is my antidote for nervousness probably. But do I get nervous? I don't think I get nervous.
I don't. It don't look like to me at the crib at all. You know what I'm saying?
But it just sound mad cocky though. Like, I don't get nervous. It's cap.
Real,
it's low key cap. But if you're so busy and if you know so much about the subject, you're not nervous, or you don't have time to be nervous.
But when you execute, you have the right to say that.
Yeah.
If you execute, I wasn't nervous.
Nobody knows, and you execute.
I wasn't nervous.
And you walk into your purpose too. That always helps too, man. I had to ask that question, man.
What do y'all do for nerves though? Like, and do y'all get nervous with the podcast?
What's interesting is you kind of brought up one of mine. So like, what I find myself do, I don't think I'm in here like shaking and freaking out, but I will like pace, or I'll drink everything, waiting up for it, or I just I won't stop moving until the guest gets here, right? And now we're good.
Yeah.
Or I'll ignore the guest before the show on purpose because I don't want to give anything up too soon. Right. So these are probably like my little twitches, but I'm not gonna stutter or freak out when you sit down. I'm just go through it.
Yeah, we're gonna get through the thing. I like public speaking. So my mom put me in front of people at a very young age. So I like it. I look forward to it. But my biggest issue though for me is that I was able to convey a message. So sometimes public speaking is cool. Anybody can do it. Stand up there and sound confident, and you know what I'm saying. And ooh and ah, someone who may not necessarily be as comfortable, necessarily as confident in what you're doing. But did you convey the message? Did it make sense? And so I think that the nerves or the thought process or being extra critical for me comes after the moment. Like I go up to somebody and say, "Hey, did I make sense while I was up there?"
I do get nervous afterward. That's actually very true. You ever when you play it back, like when I get home, especially after like VMA red carpets and stuff, I probably just sit in silence and play a lot of the stuff, the interviews back in my mind. And that's when I get nervous because then you might remember something that you didn't say exactly how you want to say it, or question you forgot.
Or they don't get it, or they left more confused.
Or you think of a better idea afterwards.
Afterwards.
Should have said. You always think of that good comeback hours later.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Because you come prepared. You got this production Bible. You got all the questions that you have. And then you get in front of DJ Khaled, and he's really excited about the first question. So now we just going to stick with that question, and we just going to have this conversation. And then you go home, and you're like,
man, I
could have
did
other
this
thing
and this
that I also wanted to talk about. But you just got to lean into the energy that the guest
I wanted to ask him why he used to call us niggas all the time. I didn't get to it. Damn it.
Yo, you know what?
He used to say it so loud.
He don't get a lot of smoke for that.
None.
People been coming at Fat Joe for that, man. They be coming at my Latino brothers and sisters for saying the N-word.
DJ Khaled is from the Middle East.
Yeah, they haven't come to my brother. Not that they should, man. My name Bennett, I ain't in it, man.
I ain't gonna do it. Fat Joe ain't never called me nigga.
You know?
Personally.
I love Joe, too.
He calling y'all niggas.
He calls the culture.
You talking to y'all.
Yeah. You niggas in New York.
Yeah, DJ Khaled used to say at top of his lungs, who? We, nigga!
We kept listening to.
He was the first Nav.
He walked in the QC. They said, "What'd you say?"
Yeah, let's have Nav on the show. They say Nav.
Yeah,
let's do that.
He has like
Nav stop.
He low key stopped.
Yeah. I never heard Nav say it. I don't listen to Nav like
Birds
that.
in the Trap.
So.
We thought it was Justin Bieber at first that said it. It was Nav.
Oh wow, I'd have been cool. Not cool with Justin Bieber saying it, but he said it once and they let him slide. What we gonna do now?
Yeah, we thought Bieb said it was Nav.
We thought Travis Scott was like, fuck it, sounds good.
Straight up.
Now that's what's up, man. I appreciate that moment, that conversation, man, about that, because you do such a good job, bro. For real,
man. Thank you.
Nah,
man.
for real. I told you, it's flowers, bro. Like, you are my favorite journalist.
Man, I would talk about that process at length too. I hope I'm trying to practice on this side of the table, not being too long winded. But I get to nerd.
Oh, it's a podcast. Go crazy.
We got time.
Yeah. All right. So when I did my first interview, but it's a long process to really find out how you can build rapport with somebody within 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and you only got them for a couple seconds, and how can you really, you know what I mean?
It's the art and science to anything and everything.
Feel free to tell me, get out your business, but I feel like,
get in there.
How are you feeling in the industry? Like, how do you feel like you appreciate the way in which we're appreciating you? Does MTV say, "Hey, great job, Dometi, that was beautiful"? What's the feedback like for you in that major industry?
Great question. Damn.
It depends on who the feedback is coming from, right?
Okay.
So I feel like what often happens. First of all, MTV does appreciate me. Shout out to all the executives who bring my name up in meetings.
Oh, you killing it.
It's really
the MTV Illuminati talking about you.
Yeah. Man, they got Kurt Loder somewhere trapped in the closet.
And you know what I love, G? When it's somebody, it's like it might be an EA or like executive assistant to somebody, or somebody who is on the come up, who may have just started their career, or somebody who black, or usually it's black women who might hit me on the side and be like, hey, by the way, they weren't trying to go with you. I said your name in there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, black women take care of you.
They will.
If they like you.
Man.
Every time. If they like you.
Disclaimer.
If they like you.
And it's
Yeah.
okay. I think it's okay to say that.
Oh, for sure. Be on their side.
And they tell me
got
what
to.
happens in the meetings too. Like they tell me what, who really and which executives
Hey.
are really volleying for me and advocating.
Ain't nothing
for
like
me.
a black woman yanked to the side at a corporate meeting.
Yeah.
You're right. Let me not make it hot though.
Yeah.
It ain't just black women in there. It ain't
Yeah,
just
they ain't right.
It ain't just shorty in that
Yeah.
meeting before I make my connects hot. But so I hear like a lot of the great feedback that happens.
Yeah.
The reason I pause so long is I think industry wide, sometimes people believe because you make it look easy that it is easy, and you find, and I have no qualms against people who have built their social media platforms and get opportunities to host different engagements and activations, but you can't get upset when they don't perform like journalists and
'Cause they're
trained
not.
hosts perform,
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
They're not.
You know,
They haven't put their 10,000 hours in.
you know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
TikTok comedian. They put their hours in on being funny, but maybe not on asking questions or on reading prompter or not getting nervous with the celebrity that they didn't think they would need. Or
So Dometi,
Now
right,
they've said
because
something weird.
there are moments in, as consumers, and now we're in this media space as well with our podcast, where we will sit and say, man, that's lazy journalism.
come on, man.
Or y'all not even trying, or they didn't do any research, and you start to feel like, man, we would have killed that interview.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When do you realize, or do you feel that way when you kind of look at some of these bigger media? I'm not gonna say any names.
Yeah.
When you like, man, y'all not even preparing, you're not even trying.
They ain't got no production Bible over there. I can tell you.
You're right. I put the onus on the fans.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I was having this conversation with Tiffany Walden, who is the co-founder and editor-in-chief of the Tribe.com. Tribe is a super dope black women-led publication based out of Chicago. I'm just name dropping because I got the
check 'em out.
platform and I want y'all to check them out.
For sure.
And that's my sis. And we were having this conversation about the lack of media literacy at the public level. So I'm not mad at MCs, musicians, media personalities, comedians turned content creators. But I wish the public knew the difference between entertainment and content in journalism.
So if the consumer's not discerning it, it doesn't matter. That's the game.
That's the game. So we got to figure out. So it's on me. So I'm always, before I'm bitter or pointing the finger at what somebody else is doing wrong, I'm thinking, okay, what am I not doing
Right.
in communicating the difference?
How come they can't tell that that's mid? It's my fault.
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough.
I'm not, you know,
Because they should know that that's mid.
that they should know. I should. You know what? Let me hit up the pregame podcast, do an
Yeah.
interview, get my perspective out here.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't know.
Because that's mid.
You feel
Man,
me?
I feel like we all been there. Like, man, what is going on? You know what I'm saying?
And that's I think that's the thing. The public be expecting, you know what I'm saying, Barbara Walters from
From whoever you want to put in that spot. I understand. Don't say
Right.
the name. Protect
you know,
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, I love all of the shows. Genuinely, like I watch them for hours on end, but I'm not expecting to get CNN type content from those platforms, and the public shouldn't either. Just like you shouldn't expect to get accurate information from the Shade Room. It's on you
Right.
to see that the Shade Room announced something.
And do your
okay,
part to
and do
find-
your part, and just do
Believe
one
that.
Your
Google
own
search.
research. That's a
And look
that's
at a real
Deuce Touche. He's
Oh man,
really about
I'm
it.
context. Get context, bro. Before you come in here yelling at me, get some context.
Come on, man.
Find
I
out
thi-
what happened around it.
So to more directly answer your question, I do feel love from the industry, but I think the industry at large sometimes doesn't value journalists as much as they value numbers,
Right.
Following, who's
And
listening.
following,
Yeah.
who's listening, and you know,
Yeah,
so sometimes there's some of that. But I mean, MTV appreciates me with they dollars. So
You're essentially
Gotcha.
an MC.
appreciate it, man.
You're an MC.
Yeah.
You're like a rapidy rapper.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm tired of these snap rappers.
Yeah,
Sick of
I-
these
I
niggas.
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like that a little
D4L
bit.
in them.
Yeah.
You know, but in the same way, what can I do in my beat selection
Right.
Yeah.
to make sure my stuff travels where I
You
want it
keep
to?
on rapping
you know
over
what
that
I'm saying?
jazz.
Right.
You know, so
I got
Goddamn hip hop Dalmatians.
yeah. For sure. Dometi, so I know you're big on racial equity. You know, you're also taking this into schools and working with different companies and trying to address some of those deficits.
Yeah, put the Pongo
My-
strategies hat on. real
Yeah,
quick.
my question for you, man. I'm very passionate about education. What does equity look like to you in schools? And what do you think is the best way to attack that so we have more of that in our schools? Specifically in schools of color, where you think that equity just comes naturally, right? Because
yeah.
Y'all niggas.
we all look the same.
Yeah.
But yet there's still disparities even in those systems too.
That's right.
So what is Pongo Strategies doing? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so we've been consulting with a lot of folks on conversations around this racial equity piece, especially because people are conflating history classes with critical race theory, right? They think if you teach about Africa, then you're indoctrinating white kids to feel bad or something. No, it's just facts.
These are just facts. It's happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we teach about, well, I'm not going to use that example because that's hot water. But,
just what you just said, they should say that to all of them.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Just stop.
I want the hot water, though, if you're comfortable giving the hot water.
Nah.
Fine.
It was a bad analogy. It wasn't worth the risk. But
I thought about all the easy Dr. Strange. Thought about all the outcomes.
I thought about it wasn't worth it.
To the future.
But there are tons of racial groups that we learn about what they've been through.
Yeah, you're not
and people
indoctrinating.
don't think about how it might offend the people who perpetrated those acts of violence against them.
You're not indoctrinating kids to hate the British, but you talk about the
We
revolution.
talk about it every single
But
time.
we talk about that's the perfect example. You're not indoctrinating kids to hate the British in the UK. In fact, we teach them to love the Queen, even though this country spilled blood for America to be an independent nation. That's the perfect example.
Yeah.
And so these are some of the things that we talk about when I'm giving these talks. And what we realize is even when you have a teacher of color teaching students of color, the textbook that they're using might have wrong information. The system that they have to operate in,
or that standardized test.
The standardized test.
To teach to.
So we're talking about all of that stuff when we go and talk to kids. So I've been giving keynotes to different school districts about how they should think about storytelling, particularly to students who are interested in journalism. But then writ large, how do you talk to students who come from diverse backgrounds in a way that edifies their history and at the same time acknowledges the challenges that their history experienced and the truth about this country in a way that's accurate, authentic, and doesn't feel politicized. Because now we're in a place where
everything you say has got gotta have some sort of message behind it.
Exactly.
What are you trying to make me think?
Man. What is this liberal agenda that you're bringing in? I'm like, I'm just trying to teach you that
history,
black folks existed before the slave trade. Right. So is teaching about Mansa Musa, is that gonna make you call me a liberal propagandist?
Come on, man.
He really exists.
Come on,
you know
man. I know
so,
a good Mansa Musa lesson that's fire, too.
Come on, man.
Oh, I know a good one.
I've questioned Mansa Musa in the past. I didn't know. I thought he wasn't real. I was sure.
Bro,
I thought
it wasn't real. I was like, he was talking about, I was like, that nigga ain't real. Ain't
man,
he had how much gold?
Ali, man.
Yeah. Come on. The people, the problem is misinformation is what fuels racism, and it's a poison of white folk too. And we'll talk about that aspect enough too. Like I did a story about.
Your point, Dometi, they've been indoctrinated too.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like they've been taught to think a particular way, and they don't want to give up that way of thinking.
Well, because it works.
Because it's all
it's
they
going
know.
really well
right,
for them.
Right.
I did a story about Christopher Columbus, and somebody said if he didn't found America, you wouldn't be who you are. You wouldn't be where you are. I was like, no, I'd be in Africa.
Yeah, with them resources.
With my resources.
With 30 houses.
Minding my motherfucking business.
Going crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So people don't even know that there was a reality that we thrived and existed.
Yes, man.
Before they came and disrupted our reality. So and that's what poison white folks.
Oh, this will be gold. This is the whole thing. The microphone will be made out of gold.
Yeah.
The computer will be made out of gold.
a gold thing on my neck.
Yeah, it's like how many gold teeth do you have? Let me see.
It'd be wild.
You need to do better, brother.
Right.
Now all we can do is imagine.
Yeah.
Because we were robbed of that. So, those are the type of things that we try to talk about. And it links to and the reason I got into that bag is because it links to the reason and the way we tell stories.
It's a bag, all right. Yeah. Speaker bag, different, I'm sure.
That's
my booking
that's
fee.
nice
I'll
jacket,
be
man.
there. Just make sure.
Indeed.
Holler them at that.
I want to
Yeah,
get this taken care of before I start talking.
Normally I drive Chicago, but I'm thinking about flying this time.
Yeah. We got the car like Jamie Foxx. You didn't see it.
I missed it.
It was a movie, man. I think Dometi had his shades on. He took the shades off.
Slow motion.
I said, bro. It was a moment, man.
I was inside. I said, damn,
It was
it's
like
bright
action-
outside. The sun just come
Man.
out. Oh, it's Dometi.
It was like an action movie. I'm telling you.
Got the JBs playing in the background.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He said it happened like that. That was his plan that we pulled up.
Yeah,
I'm not
denying anything. That's what happened.
No, I ain't gonna lie too. I didn't recognize you at first. I saw you over there and I was like, these niggas about to rob me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So
how
I was
feel.
at Queens. I was like, oh, that's gang. They right there. All right,
Four
we good.
niggas.
Interesting. It's where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Had to count them out.
Yeah, I don't think the pregame on that, but
Right.
It's like 6 of them.
That'd be
Only
crazy.
4 hosts.
Right. Last time I was
The whole
here.
thing. man.
Nah, that's crazy, man. While we're on the subject, man, I'm a big history. I love history. I think it's just very important. I think the more that we know, the better that we'll be. You know what I'm saying? What do you think is a a turning point or a story in history that you really have connected to, that you're drawn to, that you still would like to know more about?
Ya Santawa. Being from Ghana. So my mom's name is Ya. It means female born on Thursday. And when I went to Ghana.
That is very detailed.
Yeah. Y'all know this about Ghana. You know, depending on what day of the week you born.
Really?
Yeah, different name or whatever. Yeah. So, and you might have different attributes, ascribed to that different name or whatever. And
I'm going to use that to my event. Thank you, Dometi.
Yeah, that's in his back pocket now.
I cannot wait to use that.
That's in his back pocket now.
Tell me your African name.
So let me tell you about Ghana. So now, turn the chair around. So anyway.
Exactly.
Ghana.
I'm gonna pull up on a Ghanaian. I'm gonna pull up on somebody, and they better come correct.
Tell her, hey, what is your name? Hit her with it. Do what you got to do. But so when I learned about Ya Santawa and how she took up arms against the British when the men didn't want to fight, I just hear about this story. Right, exactly. You hear about the story, then you hear about her being exiled. She got exiled. I want to know the details behind why didn't they just kill her when she was captured? Why did they exile her? How did the actual fighting go? Because you just say pick up weapons and fight a whole bunch of women in the village. How were they able to? They took a lot of losses, but they killed a lot of folks too. How were they able to do that with skill? Right. How did she survive it? Like the ins and outs. Like we hear these stories in just brief detail. When it comes to American Revolution, we know in great detail, with Paul Revere, he was on the horse, this happened, he yelled out, Crispus Attucks, first black man that died, first person that died. And with African history, it's been digging into a lot of that information. And the great thing is, we come from an oral history. So a lot of the information I just ask relatives. And so I'm trying to figure out how to codify some of that. And, in addition to, of course, dope historians have put those things on paper. But some of that, and then family history, like really as an Ewe, what do I come from? Who are my people? What are some of my stories? I think those are the things that I've been.
That's tight. A good thing for African culture, you can rely on oral history. If it was African American culture, oral history is sketchy. Because niggas gonna tell you a couple.
Don't add a little sauce. Sauce to the story.
Right.
He told me that, but I'm gonna add this in there. It's gonna be
right.
If we'd asked Chris would ask cousins about what happened, it'd been a whole different story.
It might be some of that in African history too. Y'all know about Igbo landing, right? Where Yeah, so it was like it's the myth of the flying, Africans. So it was a mass suicide where a whole bunch of enslaved Africans walked into the water. They're like in unison. In unison, we'd rather drown than be slaves. And the myth is that they flew to freedom.
I didn't catch the back end of that story. I thought they just went in there and walked in.
Yeah, so it ended up being like the spiritual aspect of the story is that they flew elsewhere, and then there are like different accounts and different stories that add like meat to that myth.
Wow.
And so, but just in the tradition of oral history, so you have a little bit of Afrofuturism and some folklore that goes along with actual factual things that happen.
I would love to see that played out.
That'd be fine. What you call it? Ta-Nehisi Coates did a comic book or something. I haven't read it yet. I'm like you. I really want to read it. I really want to read Coates' book about this.
That's even worse. This is a comic book.
Comic book got the Water Dancer.
The comic book got 75
It's not a comic book.
You could have been read
I'm halfway through the Water Dancer actually.
Is that?
I'll be honest.
Is it about that?
Yes, to a certain extent. It's about this. He has the. When I finally figured out what the young man's power was, I kind of put the book down a little bit. Essentially, he has the ability to outrun slave catchers. Like he's a Marvel superhero.
He's a Negro.
So like he crosses them up.
He's Jesse Owens.
You say you stopped reading it?
I'm over here now.
Right.
I just wanted a little bit more. I as a consumer, I wasn't really. So now all of a sudden he's in. He wakes up and he's in the North and he's free now. They're like, hey man, you got a special power. Back there, what you do to them white folks?
That nigga fast.
Man, they ain't.
He's
never
Dante.
been
He's Dante
before,
Hall,
bro. Yeah, like I was like,
He's Dante Hall in the punt return.
I think
Hester, if you will.
Coates is an amazing writer. His perspective is much needed. But for me though, I just wanted a little bit more.
I dig it.
That's fair.
You just out running, you Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
Hit the
Thank you for fact checking me in real time. I thought the book was about Igbo landing.
So while
Hey,
we're
you know
in
what?
the
It might
And honestly, it might be. I had made it to the end. But ultimately though, I stopped when I realized
that was the
Oh, he said, he could do a Euro step.
Yeah, okay.
I got it.
He's Day next Friday. So we're in the history bag right now. Can you talk to the Smithsonian thing? You said I was like,
that's major.
That's big.
Yeah.
What's going on with Smithsonian?
Y'all trying to make the history stuff sexy.
Hey man,
I don't know if it's gonna be exciting though.
We always joke about we're informative and hilarious. We try to at least give you something
right
while making you laugh.
We're doing a show first of all, working with the Smithsonian Channel is like, that's one of those moves where it doesn't really matter in terms of outside validation or not doing stuff that like gets more visibility.
Passion project.
Because it's like I'm in the annals of history.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes I try to look at it with the gravity of that, because we're so ambitious. Sometimes we forget why we do what we do. So anytime I do a project with the Secretary Lonnie Bunch, we did a series called Conversations in Context that came out during the pandemic that was just about different moments in civil rights and human rights history that relate to what we were going through during the pandemic.
It's sad that happens. You can still do that.
Everything has a parallel.
Yeah.
And we often think that, you know, a lot of young activists think they're the first people to do stuff.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
But,
they've
like,
been fighting this fight
that person put the vest
far
on.
too long.
time.
For far too long, man.
And so like that, working with them always lets me see my work within that context and makes me say, then it humbles you, and it's like, well, I haven't done what this person has done.
Right.
Or I haven't read this person's book in history. I haven't done this, haven't done that, haven't done that. Why am I focused on, you know, getting followers up or getting this check or working for this when I haven't even done? I got to make sure the work for my people is set and the foundation is set, and that when they look back at these archives and when they look at the conversation that you guys are archiving, that when they'll know what life was like at that time for our people, what mattered at that time. You know, it's a simple concept, but it's something that's so easy to lose sight of in the midst of the work. But we're doing
Especially
a panel.
in New York, shit. I'm sure everything moves.
That's
so
a great
fast.
perspective, though, man. Because we really truly are, and you are doing this work now. You're gatekeepers. You're a gate, bro. You're essentially not gatekeeping
you're time
aspect,
capsule.
but you're definitely
We're all griots.
Yeah, protecting these moments. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And make sure they're polished. So when somebody does like take the time out the capsule, it's like, oh man, that was fire.
Yeah.
Wow, I appreciate whoever did this before me. So now, because now I know
wonder if
more.
you ever watched the Queen,
the Woman King.
I wonder if Lloyd ever want to go watch the Woman King.
Yeah, nah, for real.
I wonder if you ever saw it.
So we're doing like a panel
probably
on
didn't.
December 1st. right.
Now, look, I'm saying the same thing you said about the book is the same thing with the Woman King.
Bro,
Like, you put the book down, you put that movie down, too.
I said, bro, I can't.
Yeah, he doing it.
Man, this is it. This is the talent, because there's so much information that goes into like his past, his life. He was a slave. It was tough. He finally makes it out. I'm trying to figure out why he's called the water.
Maybe we'll ask him one day. We should try to get a Coast interview. That's probably
tried.
feasible.
Yeah, I tried years ago.
Try again.
We'll try again.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I saw him at the Apollo. He did an interview with Black Thought.
Damn, the Apollo is here. Is that in
At the
Harlem?
Apollo,
It
it's in
is.
Harlem.
Man.
Y'all gotta move around.
We're not here long enough. We about to get out of here. I mean, we gonna come back though.
Okay.
We back.
Is that
Yeah.
y'all van right there?
Yeah.
It is. That's it.
I see, man.
Is
y'all
it
stuck
still there?
out. Yeah, you're right. It's still there.
I got a black man,
It's
right?
still there. Don't worry about that crackhead looking in the back though. But
Oh, there's a couch outside this bar. I know it's been through some things. It's
yeah.
seen some things.
But yeah, it's so we're doing a panel December 1st in Washington D.C. With the Smithsonian Institute about race and equity and the legacy of race in this country. Super dope, open to the public. It's gonna be 7 p.m. December 1st.
Pull up.
In D.C. Pull up. The information is on Smithsonian Institute's website, but that's gonna be a super dope.
That's a very important
conversation.
website you have information on.
Yeah, yeah. For
Just in
sure.
case you're wondering.
I'd be remiss not
You
bring
an
up
encyclopedia nigga now. That's tight.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I feel, man. I'll be like, nah, that's when that I saw y'all episode with Gerard from Black and
Black
Bold.
and Bold.
Those are my people. Pernell was actually, I used to work with Pernell,
Yeah.
who's his co-founder. I worked with him at Target. So I remember him trying to start this business from the very beginning. Are they from Indiana?
So they're from Gary.
Gary.
They're from Gary. Word.
They some of the animals.
Yeah.
It's a small world, bro. I remember I
Yeah.
was like, Dometi posting Black and Bold. How you know? He's like, I know the other guy. I said, oh, I know the other guy. That's
Yeah.
tight. Let's go with him.
Okay, we
Yeah.
did talk about that, but he talked about imposter syndrome, and if there's ever a moment when it hits me, is when I'm doing something with the Smithsonian Institute.
It's just
I'm like,
it's
I haven't
massive,
even
bro. That's a
read
big,
enough books to be
Yeah.
in this building, bro. Like I'm, you
feel
know,
like J.
it's,
Cole.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't really read like
I don't
that.
really read like that, and I read a lot. And I say like, I don't really
Dometi's
read
so
like
well
that.
learned. Yeah, but I don't be reading like that.
Yeah.
I just watch documentaries.
Yeah, that's true. I don't be-
Man, that was a
I can't
sad
be coming
day
like
cold,
that. So it's
boy.
like
I
it
would-
just it's
The pressure that'd be
daunting,
crazy.
man.
I'd be on my toes so crazy in that room because these are like historians. They bring stuff up like about
Yeah,
the Ebola that we all
long
yeah,
PhD.
Ebola.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
That guy, he was
That's
tight.
every day for you.
But don't y'all feel like that too when you interview people, because it's like you get to cheat. I get to sit next to the person on the stage asking the same questions I would ask in private. right? So the great thing is, in some ways, as a journalist, we're not really tasked with knowing everything. We just got to know what to ask.
Correct, because you're going to give me the answer.
You're going to give me the answer.
Yeah.
So now I get to learn in real time. So I have like actual from Lonnie Bunch, no, this is how this happened. This is who Claudette Colvin was, who sat down on the bus before Rosa Parks did, and blah, 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 blah. Now that's locked in.
I know she hate Rosa.
Got it straight.
Hey, she talking about her bad.
Boy. Yeah. If it happened today, boy. Yeah.
Rosie?
I'll tell you what really happened.
I know they call her Rosa. Her name was Rosie. We ain't fucking Rosie.
Yeah.
Rosie wasn't nobody.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
She didn't have no job.
All right. She wasn't even going to work.
Yeah. She was just tired. She told me.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm tired.
Bitch had EBT. She wasn't going to work.
The views of the pregame podcast are not necessarily.
They do not. They do not. That's what we do. And we appreciate Rosa Parks.
That was a
and
Southside
everything she
moment.
did,
Shout
for
out to
sure.
Southside.
Yeah, it
She
was
hated her.
ridiculous.
F. Coretta.
Fuck Coretta Scott King.
Oh, man.
Inside joke from an HBO show called Southside.
Check it
Yes,
out. It's a good
check
show.
it out.
It's a good show. I enjoy
It's a
it.
really good show. I love
Binge it.
Southside,
It's better to
man. It's
binge.
pretty
Don't
good.
watch it as it comes out.
It's a
Binge
fact.
that.
But yeah, man, I wanted to talk to you about just your journalism in general.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at the point where we've seen so many different forms of it, et cetera. Where do you feel like the industry is headed at this point? With so much, one thing about the internet and these apps is that anybody can be a journalist, man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they pick up a phone, they post something, they make some background on
Buy
TikTok.
some lights, get some microphones.
Now they got
Think
a
you're
million
podcasting.
followers. Now they just talking or speaking to whatever they feel as though is relevant information. Somebody's taking it and saying, oh, "You're right." So like, where is the industry headed, man?
I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, I love that the gatekeepers are gone because I didn't go to J school, right? And so there are now people, creators, people who have blown up on TikTok and all of these different folks who don't speak the King's English, but they have the knowledge, or they are blackety, black. You know what I'm saying? Dressed like how we are. And now the gatekeepers can't say you're not professional, you don't belong in this space, you're not allowed to get this information. TikTok has allowed these people, and social media writ large, and Twitter has allowed some of our most brilliant minds to shine because there are no gatekeepers. You know, so I love that aspect of it.
Now the curse of that
Is the idiots also spread information as well. So we're in a beautiful place in that sense. But I think we're going to have to start from young teaching media literacy. It might have to be a class in grammar schools or high schools. How to parse information, you know, from different
No, you
different
legitimately
sources.
see
That's fire,
that people
man.
don't have
Yeah.
that muscle. And that's why you see things like Fox News, or if you want to do CNN for the other side, like people can't
or
discern.
MSNBC.
They can't discern it.
Yeah.
So whatever they're getting it from, they're running with it, and there's no filter anymore.
And we thought it was all fun and games when
Yeah.
Trump was running, and he was just saying whatever he wanted to say unchecked.
man.
because
And
we
it
were
was,
laughing.
it was funny.
He
We're
joking,
laughing,
yeah.
he joking, you know.
But they were taking that shit up here.
and getting tattoos, bro.
And
Shooting
of
it up.
black people, of minorities, black people are most likely, black men are most likely to be swayed by Donald Trump. Right? Like a large percentage of us, like 14% or something, like voted for Trump last election.
I want to blame Mexicans. I thought it was the Mexicans that did it. It was us.
It was Mexicans too,
Weak
but it was us.
minded niggas.
It was a lot of us. It was a lot of black men specifically who, you know, were leaving, and you know, we're learning because, you know, as rappers and influential people put false narratives out there, people are like, nah, that shouldn't go. So now we're learning. But I think in high school and college and grammar school, we're gonna have to start teaching civics and media literacy so that we don't have a repeat of what happened in the Trump era. Because once the cat's out the bag, information wise, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So, you know, we're in a
Spreads.
good place, but I think it's gonna take us, and that's why I'm doing some of these trainings, to really invest in the next generation of thinkers so that they just don't believe everything they click on.
That's fair. We definitely need that for sure. Somebody go out there and make that class.
How do y'all feel about this shit?
I
Do you think we're in a good place with information, with media?
I think
feel
we're in
like-
a terrible place with information.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Like you said, it's a terrible place because it doesn't matter what the information is, good or bad. You're gonna see it. So knowing that someone was shot and killed by the police is a piece of information I feel like everybody should know. But that also comes with there being a video of it, and now we've got to see it because it's everywhere
Now
and every single one time.
Give up the ghost and I don't want to see that, but I have to see it.
I have to see it because you can't even get on Instagram or Twitter without it popping up. And so you get the good information, like the need to knows, but you get the bad part of it about it. And so it's like, what's the word? We're desensitized to it now, but it still sucks that we have to do that.
On the flip side, I feel like we have, as a generation, we have the most access to information, and we use it the least, or we fact check it the least.
Yeah.
So I give them a hard time all the time, but like I think it's so easy to take a soundbite or a clip
and run with it,
and like treat it as fact. And I feel like as a whole, we do that a lot, and I could do it too. I'm prone to it as well. It depends on how much I care about something. If I'm going to do that extra step,
certain things I let fly.
I was going to even, it's interesting you brought that up because I was bringing it up. One thing about information is polarizing, and there's so many different, like, for example, I consider myself to be a progressive thinker. So naturally, I'm connected to these channels, connected to these sound bites that resonate with who I am and what I'm about, and it's preaching to me. I watch a Dometi Pongo interview. I feel like Dometi got my back.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I'm connected to what he's saying and what he's speaking to. And I'll be honest with you. Once I have those batteries in my back for that information from that side, I'm charged up against the other information, whatever they may be presenting. Yeah. So for me, I think that's the issue. Like it's harder for me now to listen to or want to even adhere to the information across the table.
I'm powered up now.
Yeah, because because
we're on the space where we gain information to win an argument too.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin the block on what sounds good to me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's
just
true.
like we went to that deli. The deli is fire. The corner, I got the same thing, man. I ain't want that. I'm like, I don't want to try nothing new because what you're providing for me is giving me further context to be who I am, be proud of what I got going on. Yeah. But I know there's certain people like my father. He's extremely liberal. Like he's just very. My father's just kind of militant, old school. You know what I'm saying? So he watches Fox News just to have.
Then.
No, he watches it just to have the information that someone's going to oppose him with.
He is
at work.
So he knows what they're saying on that side.
So he knows what they're saying on that side.
But I think that's still good though. He's still picking up things he probably wouldn't have heard otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you just sitting there get mad.
Yeah,
I gotta see what these fools saying on Fox News.
right. That's my dad.
These
my
clowns,
dad
man.
Listen to Rush Limbaugh. You hear what they saying on it? Change the channel.
Y'all want to hear that?
Yeah. That's a tough
I'm not
listen.
subjecting myself to that shit.
Yeah. But like I said, we all prone to it because we got yelled at a couple weeks ago. It was Cardi B and JT was arguing, and I didn't care.
Right.
So we talked about it very surface level, and it was very clear we didn't look into it.
A couple of our
because we didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so we let things fly. But when something that concerns me that I'm interested in, I'm never gonna run into an argument without finding out what is going on.
That's why I shout out the team too, because like we all are susceptible to confirmation bias, right? Like when I'm making a point about something, like things become inconvenient. Like let's go Woman King, since we've been talking about it. The part that I didn't know before we were researching to write that piece was that the Dahomey Kingdom fought the British to keep slavery. Right. I didn't know that. I knew that they continued the slave trade. I didn't know
they went that hard about it.
That they went that hard.
Nuck if you buck to keep it.
And so I come into the piece with the mindset that this movie is still important and still needs to be seen, and we shouldn't look to movie for historical facts. But then that fact comes out, and I'm like, damn, it is wild that they use that kingdom.
Why would they?
Why they do that?
Yeah, why did they do that?
Man.
But I still believe what I believe, but I got to give this information. Problem is, on these other networks sometimes, if it's an inconvenient fact, they'll leave it out to make sure that
they're feeding their consumer.
They're
feeding the consumer, and it goes back to your point, even asking the question. We need to be more media literate. Yeah. We need to be able to look at both sides, come to our own conclusions, and make best, or being able to understand like, oh, that's a piece of false information. That's a pundit. Let me not fall for that.
It's the evil of capitalism, bro. They're not allowed to be 100% forthcoming because it affects the bottom line.
Who is y'all least favorite podcast?
This is a nigga I went to high school with. I don't like him.
It's funny because you're not lying. You did.
I'll take a significant. He not lying. This is real shit. But I'll take a. I don't want to call it a shot, but I feel like for me, maybe because I'm happily married, I feel like sometimes relationship podcasts are so prevalent. Relationship podcasts. It's like, bro, how much can you talk about relationships? These men are dogs.
Who's paying for the date? $200
Who's
days.
doing this?
Should you take care of your son first or your husband first? What you do when you got
cheated on? Who do you put first? Is it the mother? You work with your mother or your wife? Like
it's so juvenile.
That to me is I don't know. I just feel like it's just in my opinion, it's lazy.
My least favorite podcast is Dream.
So any podcast doing that is lazy.
They don't use their microphones. It pisses me off. I can't hear it. This shit.
Hey, Mason. That's my favorite podcast.
I just can't. the audio of it. And I've become an audio.
It's the most
not 'cause of him.
professional, unprofessional podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. I like.
Yeah, I know,
the content's good though.
But I used to listen, like actually listen on Apple Podcasts, and then on Tidal for a while, and it does bother you. Like I had to watch it on YouTube.
It's better that way. It's better that way
because I can read lips, and it seemed like they might be using like different. I don't know if they're using different.
No, they just
mics
turn the
on
microphones
YouTube.
down. They just put them down.
Yeah, they just don't speak to their
But
mic.
and you can piece it together on YouTube, but there are moments when the guest is talking off mic and Norian repeat, like, we had somebody shouting off mic and I'm repeating what was said because I come from radio. They don't come from radio. But that's what I love about it, man.
Yeah. It's the advantage of what's like what Nori does, the information Nori has, the history Nori has. You can't top that.
Yeah, man. He's connect to everybody because he's Noriega.
Exactly.
Like,
so
he going to talk to him.
I asked that because I hate the Fresh Fit podcast.
I was going to talk about Fresh Fit
the worst,
too.
the worst of all time. But we try not to acknowledge them.
Yeah, and I don't.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I just don't. And I don't like.
Can you do like an impose? Do like a boop? I hate the boop podcast.
Fuck them.
But I don't like that.
Fuck.
I don't like what they're doing and what they're about and what they're trying to spread. That is trash to me.
The return of the beta males.
But
man.
people
posing
turn
as alphas.
Yeah,
like,
they
And
turn
it makes other podcasts look bad no matter the content.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a podcast. That's what they say. The podcast
they're bashing
niggas.
women, huh?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
I could, but I don't.
We don't.
That's made me think about it, though.
So we don't do that.
Even in the journalists, like how that's evolving, the podcast industry is no barrier to entry. Everybody with a mic can do it, and they're not doing it at the same level. And for whatever reason, the most ignorant, bombastic, misogynist always cuts through. They were like viral by episode 2. And these are the lamest guys that you could ever imagine.
It's ridiculous.
So I don't know. I just,
They
I
just
want
take
to shout
lame
out
to
y'all
new
ops.
heights, man.
Yeah, it's
really
you
bad.
see the latest viral with DJ academics just going off and that woman in there.
I'm the cat.
He fucked you in Airbnb.
Yeah. He gave you roach. You let him hit.
And
That's
but to your point, it brings your
Like,
point
bro,
back.
shut up.
It's up to us as a podcast to like make sure the consumer knows this is a podcast.
You ain't
There's a
got it.
difference between
Yeah.
What they
for
do
sure.
ain't really. I mean, I guess it's a podcast by definition, but they're not doing this.
I've been
They're
going
just
back and
spewing
forth
that
with,
shit.
with some of my homegirls who like feminists who are vocal on these issues and stuff, and they're like black men think this and black men move like this, and they're using some of these podcasts and some of these popular folks
Man,
as a
these
proxy for how we think
relationship podcasts,
and relationship. And I'm like, they don't speak for us. And I was like, well, where the real podcasts at? I'm like, we most likely aren't talking about relationships because we know that that's a market that's easy to exploit. We're talking about things that we're genuinely interested in. Most relationship podcasts are because they're tapping a market that they already know. Black women over-index in the use of social media, more vocal.
Yep.
Yeah.
We use it, but we're not tweeting every time something makes us upset at the same rate
Right.
at which they are. So chances are, if it's a dude hosting a relationship podcast, not all, but I can't name one that I respect.
A lot of you niggas.
Most of them.
The last one I respected is dead. I like Kevin Samuels. He gone.
See,
I fuck with Kevin too. Not everything he said. He was a wild boy, but
He was the guy where I always thought I
Made
was preach
points.
context with him. Like Kevin Samuels, you'll get a clip of him. But this episode
True.
is like
When
2
you watch the
hours
whole
long.
episode and when you heard how he was talking to men,
Yeah.
he was talking
You
to
do the
men
same
the
way.
same way he was talking to
You
women.
trash, bro.
You know,
But I think a lot of his children are out here not doing what he was doing, and they're making it worse.
and that's what it comes down to. So
Yeah.
it's like most of us ain't really. We're talking about music. We're talking about culture. We're talking about history. We're talking about building businesses.
Yeah, and I love and cherish
And
my
we're-
relationships. I'm not about to talk
And
about
y'all
it.
are uplifting y'all wives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
y'all not bringing like the content
No,
gotta be disparaging to your wife or women
right.
to your platform. You
I
know
like
what
I
I'm
like my life.
We make jokes. We definitely make jokes.
I would hate for a woman to pull up on me like, I heard what you said on your little podcast.
Yeah.
saying? I heard a little podcast.
I heard your little
Yeah.
podcast about you. You
for
think
sure.
you like. Nah, I'm
You know,
cool.
That was a random
Nah,
sidetrack.
we
but
need that, man. We having a great conversation. I want to make sure that we also cover the true crime show that you were doing on MTV, which was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Amazing. Just being able to have another out like that with the young hosts. What was that like for you? That particular type of content.
That goes back to what we're talking about with diverse content creators removing the barriers to entry, because I don't know if there is another black man
I don't think so.
hosting true crime.
No,
I don't know.
Not that I know of. And it's one of the biggest industries, especially for podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another black man or woman doing it. They did a true crime spinoff in the UK, and there was an African sister who was doing it, who did 4 episodes there. But so just that, being able,
it's monumental. Yeah,
you know what I mean, and watching it back, because I realized that when I started researching to find out, okay, how do I approach the genre? Because I didn't really watch true crime stuff.
I do not.
That. Yeah, I wasn't into that content. And so I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. I'm looking at 48 Hours. I'm looking at Dateline. I'm looking at all these different shows. It's all older, stodgy white men. Every now and then there's a woman host, but they didn't speak naturally. So when they're doing an interview with the black family, and I imagine they're like white cameramen and then this white host, and it just felt real police. It might feel to them, even if the person is genuine, their approach, them being suited and booted while the person is in the
struggle,
the struggle, going through what they're going through, just optically. Like, that's why I always wore black, plain black. It was like, you wear blacks at funerals. I'm talking about death. I'm always wearing just black on the show, just in honor of the people who passed, but also like, I'm here with you. Walk me through the trenches with you where you at. So it was remarkable from that standpoint, and just feeling like I was able to build on the backs of other creators who are diverse, who might not have been in the true crime space, but you know, in every other, Petey Greens, the Lester Holtz, whoever you want to name, Sways. I felt like I was adding on to that with that story. So I hope it comes back for season 3.
Have you gotten that dark cloud up off you? I know a lot of times there's a mental taxation of it doing it.
It's long gone. I want it back. I'm ready to tell them stories again, man. I'm ready to tell.
I'm be sad again, bro.
I'm ready to be sad again.
Where grief at? Where grief at?
I need to get my sad boy king, man. It's too much glitz, too much shiny suits on red carpets. I gotta get back in these streets, man.
Help us out, man. What is the red carpet process like? Like, who's getting these clothes? Who's picking these clothes? Are you buying these clothes? They give them to you? What's that preparation like?
Oh man, so I got a team of people that I work with. Shout out to Ali Keener, Quasi Casey, a Ghanaian stylist and creator. He has his own line called Africanic as well. He styled me for this year's VMAs.
Wow.
Super dope. Pulled some ill looks for me. It's funny, man. I show love to everybody who says they don't need a stylist, because it's hard as hell. You might know exactly what you want to wear,
but once you put it on, it's not what you thought it was going to be.
And it's hard to get it sometimes, right? Like, if you got to go to this store and that location. So some of it, it's the logistics of it. You know what I'm saying? So Quasi has his assistants who are going over here to source this product,
right?
Who has a relationship with this designer, who let them hold this piece, and they're like, oh yeah, Dometi can have that. I keep most of the clothes that I get to wear, so it's like he can have that. It's a whole. Some of them I give back, you know what I'm saying? Some I don't mind giving back, because I have it's
like prom stuff. Like, you're never gonna wear those suits.
You're never gonna wear them again.
You can't.
And then when you wear them again,
they know where it's from. Oh, it's the red carpet jacket.
I did a panel. I wore the same Valentino blazer that I wore at the 2019 VMAs proudly. Like, I'm gonna wear this as long as it fit. Like, I'm repeating these outfits. Yeah. I remixed it a little bit, but yeah, I'm rocking it again. But yeah, so I work with them, and it's funny because that process helps you. One, find things that you normally wouldn't wear. I'd never in a million years be wearing a double-breasted suit with my
t-shirt on. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I saw looks clavicle bone. I see you.
Yeah, I was being real spicy on the carpets, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it also is like, they help to compartmentalize. Okay, how do you want to present, and how do you want to be received? And so
how much do you want to shine, brother?
Yeah,
that's right. I'm trying to think like how I would answer that. I wouldn't even.
Nah, my first 4 would be trash.
Like, bro, just make me fresh.
I just want to be comfortable, bro.
I just want to be clean. Can you help me?
Just make me be clean.
Yeah, I just want to be fresh, man.
And that's it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then when they start asking these questions, even if it's not reflecting on what you wear, it helps to reflect in how you see your brand.
Yeah.
How you want people who have never seen you to witness you. Like, even though you say you just want to be comfortable and fresh, you rocking a Midwest Kids joint, right?
Yeah.
We got a lot of Midwest energy on here. You rocking the brand, corporate. We talking businesses. Like, you know what I mean? It still is a representation, so it comes naturally. So you ain't really thinking about it. But somebody comes and asks you,
it's hard to explain.
What are you trying to express?
Yeah,
what you?
That's crazy.
And I'm like,
man.
well, I guess I am
black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I want to be black.
A Black Panther lapel pin.
Yeah. Oh no, not that though.
Yeah, black. right. But he did though. That's what I had on though.
Fire.
Like, so it's like these little things that I didn't really think about. So, you know, that's kind of beyond the question. But I think that's like the funnest part to me, is figuring out like, how can I communicate
and continue to brand a Dometi.
You know what I mean?
And
that's
so
fire.
we'll get you out of here soon. But I did want to ask, have you had time to? Because like I said, you out the mud with it. And where you at right now, it's not the mountaintop, but you climbing. Have you had time to really sit down and just appreciate what you've built in these 10 years, 15 years of doing this grind?
I try to. I've been trying to recently, G. But not really because
Still working.
Still working. Still a lot to accomplish. There's still things that you wish you were a part of that you like, they should have had me do.
Yeah. Them niggas ain't hosting. Them niggas doing.
You know, but also you see a vision for yourself that hasn't materialized yet. And a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, perhaps irrationally, I believed I should have been hitting some of these checkpoints at another point in my life and in my career. Like a part of me wishes I knew this is what I would be doing sooner, because I probably would have been stopped rapping sooner, or
Shout out to the bars.
Shout out to that season of me, because it was. I don't think I'd be doing this now. I don't think I had the confidence I have now if I wasn't an MC first.
That's fair.
But
hindsight's always 20/20, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'm trying to get there. I got a special person in my life that helps me smell the roses. You know what I'm saying?
You're a Cal City success story, bro.
And all that. Man, thank
you.
You
are a Calumet City success story.
Shout out to Cal City, man.
You are a
Shout
nigga
out to Cal City, man.
Calumet City, he's out here on MTV, bro.
For sure.
Yes.
He was called Dometi. Remember Dometi?
Right.
Yeah.
And I got to start repping, because a lot of people don't know Cal City, so I say Chicago a lot.
That's fine.
I got to rep Cal City harder, man. Went to TF North from Calumet City.
They laugh at me for that.
In addition to the East Side.
Well,
You also
it's
top 10
Dometi and it's
Chicago.
Cowboy.
We also top 10 in the class.
in high school, no, I started gangbanging senior year, so it's like,
That's tight too.
start hanging with 156, man.
He
Like,
said, nah, I was Michael B. Jordan. You couldn't come in the building.
nah, even before that, like freshman year, like all throughout, I was able to live a dual life. Then by like junior, senior year, I started falling off, man. I started diving into my other bag.
Got really cool.
Got really cool. Got really famous locally.
That's how it be,
tight.
man.
Look at
That's
you now,
crazy,
though,
man.
so.
Look at you now.
That's part
man.
of the journey.
For sure.
I used to bang with bro.
Right, exactly. So nah, not so much, man. But I'm getting to that space. That's why I love seeing my people, because y'all remind me to smell the flowers. And when you in it, when you're working, same to y'all. Like, you probably don't feel like the fact that y'all have brought what y'all been doing in Indiana to New York,
Right.
booked some of the dopest personalities in this city, and been able to have a relationship with a venue this ill and do it in the midst of the logistics of doing that. It wasn't fun. So sometimes it's hard to sit back and breathe and be like, nah, we've accomplished something. We've done this. So in the same way, I feel that way about media sometimes. Sure. I'm like, I want other looks. I still got goals I want to accomplish. I want to own more content. I want to sell more content. You know what I mean? I want to have folks know about need to know before I talk about it. I want people to respect journalism and to think about true journalists when they see journalism done in an improper way. And I want my name to come up in those conversations, just being honest. So, I still got a lot of work to do.
For sure.
Man, round of applause, Dometi Pongo, man. In Queens, man, New York City. You know what I'm saying?
Always get the money.
Came through the Joe Fresh Goods jacket.
Yeah, the jacket's
and he casually tossed it across the room. He made sure it landed.
Yeah, for sure.
He don't want to
pull
hit
a
the
Rick
floor,
Ross.
bro.
Like, let me take this jacket off and use the bathroom.
Yeah, and that shit was hilarious.
Be right
Man,
Man.
Pat McAfee did this like that.
He did.
Pat McAfee said, okay, guys, I'm
I'm
podcasting
about to
no
go
more.
to
Catch you
sleep,
guys
so
later.
thank you so
Mid-episode,
much.
And just bounce.
Yeah.
left. Shook our hands.
Shook our hands, too.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he had to go.
All right,
We was
shout out
running
to
too
him.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
For
shit.
sure.
Y'all got the timing perfect
And
on
then-
this one, because we still got to drink. I still got to get y'all turned out here.
Oh, man.
Let's
do it, Dometi.
I
Nah,
don't like
let's
how
do
you
it.
said it. He was like, oh, man,
Nah,
everybody
let's
shook
do it.
their
Nah,
head.
let's do it, man. Dometi
I'm with
Pongo,
all
man.
that.
This shit was fire, man. This was great, bro.
Man, thank you so much for the time. Always, anytime
sure.
you in town, come fuck with me, man. I love y'all, bro.
Easy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Shout out to TF North, too.
Man.
And shout out to
out to
156.
They don't
Hey,
mean
man,
that
shout out
shit.
to 156.
If you remember 156,
Long live
let us know.
GQ. Long live
Hey,
GQ.
156
That's my
is
brother.
That was real?
that's why I didn't walk.
At so yeah, okay, so
I can't go over
well, back, you go to basketball games, there's certain places you like, let me not sit up there.
156 was in my
I'm gonna
area.
stay over here with the, my peeps.
I didn't always go to Panos.
Yeah, we all been there, in high school, we go to basketball, football game, you see a section of people.
Yeah.
It might be something you need to say what's up to, or just want to say, what's up, bro?
You gotta get my head now.
Make sure we cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I never forget, bro. I ducked getting
'Cause I don't
jumped
know your mans.
because I was on the wrestling team. Damn, what was his name? Remember Melvin and his bigger brother?
Yes, sir.
Yachty.
Yachty.
Man, nigga, we was walking down that trail by Castaways after wrestling practice. They walked up the trail. I was like, fuck.
Who, the guys?
Yeah. We walking up the trail. They come up Castaways up the trail. It's me, Julian Brown, and niggas. We come from wrestling practice. We walk. We say, oh, fuck, man. Y'all ready to fight? I said, no. We get up on them. They was like, oh, man, hey, good thing it was y'all. Y'all, we about to fuck y'all up.
No, we used to go on the other side hunting.
Man, thank you so
That's
much,
crazy.
Sir Melvin. Mr. Yachty, thank you. Because remember, Yachty wrestled for like a month.
Yeah,
So he knew us. He
So
was like, hey,
they
man,
cool, bro.
Y'all lucky it was y'all, boy.
Oh, it was Melvin and Yachty that was on y'all.
That's who's about to get us.
Oh, them ain't my guys. Them the guys, though. They
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Them ain't my guys.
They said, what about the niggas behind you? I know them? Nope. Catch you later.
Yeah, nah,
Them all yours, but thank you. Catch you later. Thank you. Thank you so much.
shout out to them guys.
Good times.
Yeah, shout out to.
But bless the bottle, man.
Yeah, let's
Thank you
get
for
into
having
it,
me, man. Follow me at Dometi, DOMETI_, Dometi.net, a website that I need to update. Is where you find all my shows.
Don't we all?
And all my
Don't we
content
all?
and all that.
Don't we all?
And I wanted to say this on the record. Thank you for the partnership with Liz.
Oh, yeah.
I need
It's
to
nothing.
revive that and get
Yeah.
that going the way we intended.
Hit my
originally.
corporate email.
Hit the court. This man used his platform and his space in corporate America to create an ill opportunity for me with my merch and to create a new logo for my brand. And so I'm super grateful to you, G. Thank you.
Wow. For sure, man. Shout out, dudes. He's a good guy. Let's
Real
move
nigga,
on,
man.
Have my days.
Next.
Next.